kind of crazy to believe that we are almost done with this Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Pass. I mean, seriously, we know all the characters in the next wave, and we know at least one of the tracks coming, and that next wave could be happening any week now as we approach towards the middle of summer. But it's even crazier to think that there's only one more wave to finish the year later on, which is crazy, which means we only have 2 more characters left as well. And of course, everybody's scrambling around to find out who those last 2 characters are. So far in the DLC, we've gotten Birdo in the first wave, and the second wave we have a whopping 3 brand new characters with Petey Piranha, Wiggler, and Kamek. And I don't know about you, but Wiggler definitely threw me off. I didn't expect that character whatsoever, so it definitely shakes up the rankings a little bit. Who is left? It's a death battle to see who gets that final slot. Now, of course, all these characters so far have been coming from past games, so no, it doesn't look like we'll be getting any new ones unless Nintendo just wants to come out of nowhere and surprise us. But right now, it's looking like it's going to be nothing but past Mario Karts. That includes Mario Kart Tour, so that gives us a pretty still big list of characters that they could add. And we only have 2 slots left. Now, a lot of people are already throwing predictions as to who those 2 final characters are going to be, and most people are saying the likes of Pauline and Funky Kong just make the most sense. But today I'm going to go through a little bit of data and see if I can kind of predict what they're going to do, because they did throw us off with Wiggler. There's a chance they could throw us off with these final 2. Are they going to be Pauline and Funky Kong? Well, I'm not 100% sure, and I'm going to give you guys the details as to why. Real quick, guys, before we get started, lots of you watching this video right now are not yet subscribed. So stop what you're doing, leave a like, and subscribe to stay up to date on everything Mario Kart and Nintendo in general. We are trying to get to 15% of you guys subscribed, and we have jumped up massively each and every single video, already this high, so we are very close. Let's get this video at the end to 14% of you subscribed. Stop what you're doing, leave a like and subscribe if you guys are excited for Wave 5 and the remainder of the characters in the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Pass. I always like to go through a little list of the characters that we have so far based on their weight classes. I like to categorize them and look and see maybe Nintendo wants to add specific characters in certain classes. And thanks to the addition of Birdo, we can see on screen this is the number of characters we have in each class. In very light we have 7, and light we have 9, medium we have 8, medium heavy we have 5, heavy we have 9, and very heavy we have 4. This might not mean absolutely anything, but I like to see which characters we have in each slot so far, and with Birdo being in the category of medium heavy, I thought maybe they could fill out the different categories with the remaining of the characters. Now, there are 6 categories, and of course, there are 6 DLC characters coming, which we already have 4 of them, and they might all fill up different category spots already, which is also extremely interesting. Now, I predicted Petey Piranha because, of course, he has a stage coming, but also considering the fact that he would probably be very heavy, which I've already put him in that slot. I also said Kamek would just deserve to come back because he's been done dirty so many times, and he would probably be in the medium category. And look, Kamek is back and probably will still be in that category. I'd say either medium or light, so definitely could be medium. Now, even though I got those 2 correct, I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely thrown off by Wiggler, and Wiggler to me would probably be in the heavy weight class, since in Mario Kart 7 he was in Cruiser, which was 1 away from the heaviest. So that's not necessarily very heavy, that's just sitting there in heavy, just slightly below Petey Piranha, which fills up the right amount of slots so far. With Birdo making the medium heavy category 5 now, that does allow us to predict the 3 other slots if we were correct. Kamek going into medium bumps it up to 9, Wiggler going into heavy bumps it up to 10, and Petey Piranha going into very heavy bumps it up to 5, which then leaves only light and very light left, with 9 and 7 respectively. Yes, this is something that we can use in order to help us make our predictions and to be more correct, but it's not the only thing we can use. Something else that's a very big indicator is the tracks that's coming in each wave. Now, we know Petey Piranha was most likely added already due to the brand new Piranha Plant Cove track that's probably coming in next wave as well, so we can expect that, and that's something that might help us to look forward. Birdo was obviously added for the Yoshi Island track in the wave before it, so it's definitely a factor here. The thing is, when we look at these last batch of characters, none of them actually scream like they could have their own theme track besides the Kongs. And there's actually a leaked data mine of a track with the codename DK, which we don't know what that could represent. Now, it could be, different things, maybe another city track or something, or it can be a new Donkey Kong themed track. One thing a lot of people were making predictions about is it could be the island of Donkey Kong's island that we see in the Country series from time and time again, all wrapped up in in its own track, kind of like Yoshi's Island. So we don't really know yet, but that would make sense, and announcing a Donkey Kong character would be huge for that. First, let me get rid of the characters that I believe are not happening. I originally would have said Wiggler, probably not going to happen, but look what happened. So who knows at this point, but I believe we are not going to get Peachette. There's no way that's going to happen. I just don't even want to go into why, but it's just not going to happen. Next up, we are not getting Captain Toad. We have Toad. There's no reason to waste a slot on another Toad. We're not going to get DK Jr. because there's other Kongs that should definitely get the mantle way before that, with Diddy, Dixie, and even Funky Kong. So, yeah. Which also leads me to believe I don't think Dixie Kong is going to happen, just because Diddy and Funky are way more higher priority than them right now. So no, they're not going to happen. I also think Charging Chuck and Monty Mole are not going to happen. They're enemies that are kind of lower priority right now. I don't know why they would beat out any of these other characters that are still in this list right now. It would not make sense. I don't think anybody is craving for Monty Mole or Charging Chuck, so unfortunately I think they will be dropped as well. I also think Nabbit is kind of just irrelevant now, even since New Super Mario Bros. Is done with Super Mario Wonder just now being released, so I think they're just going to get rid of him. And yeah, I think Rob is gone as well, just because he's not part of that core Nintendo Mario lineup. He's, you know, extended Nintendo, and I don't think they're going to add any characters like that in this DLC. We haven't seen anything like that unless he's like a surprise last character, like, you know what, let's bring back Rob. But unfortunately, Rob fans, I don't see him coming back either. With those characters gone, that leaves us with Pauline, Hammer Bros, King Bob-omb, Diddy Kong, and Funky Kong. And let me try to explain what I feel about these characters. So yes, there's two options on this list. A lot of people might be like, why does he have them there? Which would be Hammer Bros and of course King Bob-omb. But let me try to explain myself. The Hammer Bros were in Mario Kart Tour, and they're actually characters I believe that were cut from Mario Kart Wii, so they kind of have that, you know, nostalgia factor that Kamek did, where a lot of people wanted them in, but they never happened. You also have tons of alts with these characters, which none of these DLC characters have so far. You have Hammer Bro, Fire Bro, Ice Bro, and even Boomerang Bro with different colors, which would be really cool to finally have a character with alts in the DLC. Now, most of this is kind of a love letter towards them from me, because yes, I love the Hammer Bros. They're my favorite enemy in the Mario series, so I'm sorry, I'm going to give them more love than normal. But yeah, I feel like there is a good reason to put up, at least with the different alts, for why they could appear. Also, probably considering the fact they could also fit in the light category, I think, pretty well. Why King Bob-omb? This one is also a weird one. Well, he's not just a Mario enemy or Mario boss from the past, but he actually is getting a lot more love recently. He even appears in the Mario movie, and he's appearing in the Mario Rabbids DLC. The guy is kind of making a name for himself, and you can't deny that. I mean, shoot, he was even in Mario Golf. So yeah, he's having a lot more reputation. And with that said, he also could go along a Bowser's Castle stage. We know that there is a Bowser Castle 3, a remade version that's already in tour that could be coming to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And the fact that there's no Bowser's Castle so far yet at all in the DLC could lead us to believe that this could be a character that goes alongside that in that wave. Now, obviously, with Light and Very Light being the last categories without a DLC character, he wouldn't fit in any of these. He definitely would be heavy or even very heavy, which we already have characters in the DLC, but who cares? I mean, very heavy characters, we don't have many. We have 5 in the base game right now, if Petey Piranha is going to be in there. So technically, right now, as of today, we only have 4. So maybe Nintendo just wants to add a lot more very heavy characters in order to flush this roster out, and King Bob-omb would make a lot of sense. Okay, let's get to the more likely ones. Funky Kong. What if Funky Kong gets added into this game? Obviously, he's a fan favorite. There's a chance of a Donkey Kong track coming out very soon. So why would Funky Kong not be added? Well, because Funky Kong hasn't really been added in anything recently. Nintendo has changed, and they don't really represent the rest of the Kongs as much in Mario franchises. I mean, we used to get Funky Kong in everything, in Mario Kart Wii and Mario Baseball Super Sluggers, and then we haven't seen him or heard of him since. In fact, he hasn't really appeared in anything besides the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze port onto the Switch, where he was in easy mode. But besides that, we really have gotten nothing. Now, Funky Kong is added, it's going to be purely based on fan want. That's it. It's just going to be fan service. But does Nintendo really know we want Funky Kong? Has Nintendo been paying attention that people love Funky Kong as much as they do? It's hard to say. Once again, this stuff could be planned a very long time in advance, so maybe we just don't get Funky Kong at all. As crazy as it sounds, I don't think it's as likely as a lot of people think it is. This is completely random, but it just hit my mind. No, we're not getting Queen Bee either. But what about Diddy Kong? I think extremely more likely, because Diddy Kong is, Donkey Kong's nephew. He's part of the fam, he's always in there as a mainline character in a Donkey Kong game. So I think Diddy Kong has a very high chance. I feel like definitely Diddy before Funky, at least personally, I think that would happen. I don't know how Diddy Kong still isn't in Mario Kart, so it, to me, just makes perfect sense. And also, if there's a Donkey Kong track coming, yeah, I feel like they would want Diddy in there before Funky to represent, the Kongs in the Mario Kart franchise, or at least in Mario Kart 8, since you only have Donkey Kong. Diddy's gotta be in there. He's one of the ones I just feel like just makes the most sense. Plus, you could throw him in the light or even very light category. And of course, everyone's favorite pop star singer, Pauline. Pauline is gonna make it. I'm just letting you guys know right now. It's gonna happen. Why? Because Pauline is in freaking everything. Like literally everything. Pauline is the new face of Nintendo's main cast, and she's just gonna be there. I don't really have any other explanation as to why. I just feel like it's gonna happen. I will be extremely surprised if Pauline doesn't make it. She can make it because she was in Mario Kart Tour, so she's obviously eligible. So I think right now, I'm letting you know right now, you guys better just have a big fight for whoever the second character is gonna be, because Pauline is a shoo-in. But let me put all the characters on the screen and tell you about what I think the percentage is that we can get each one. So overall, I think Pauline has a 100% chance of happening. She's from Tour. We don't have a character from Tour yet, and it's Pauline. Diddy Kong has about a 77% chance of happening in my mind, because I feel like it's Diddy Kong. If we are getting a Donkey Kong themed track, he would be the next Kong, I think, to get it over Funky Kong, which I think has a 55% chance. I think it's almost about 50-50 for Funky Kong if Nintendo recognizes the hype for Funky Kong and if they just want to, cater to the fans or not. Then we have Hammer Bros. I think it's also around a 50-50% chance because of their alts, and it would just make a lot of sense to have a DLC character with changeable alts and stuff like that. And then King Bomb, I'd say around a 38% chance. Not very high, but I still think there's a potential for that character to get added, and once again, that character coming from Tour. Now, one thing a lot of people might also note that is I didn't really talk about the games that these characters come from, and maybe Nintendo wants to kind of versatile the games and the series that they come from, which I don't think is the case, because we already have Birdo from Double Dash. We're getting PD Piranha from Double Dash, which is two characters right there. So I don't think it really matters. Wiggler's from Mario Kart 7, and Kamek is technically like Mario Kart 64 is where he was supposed to appear in, but I guess you could also say Tour right now, which is the first actual game that Kamek, came from. So I don't know. I don't think they're going to actually, pick and choose different games. Like for the DS, they would really only have Rob. You know what I mean? SNES, they would only really have Donkey Kong Jr. So are they going to do that? I don't know. That could be another point for Funky Kong, since Funky Kong does come from the Wii. But at this point, I don't think that really matters, because if it did, we'd have a lot more Mario Kart 64 and a lot more Mario Kart DS tracks left. And we don't. We're out already. So yeah, I don't think it really matters. But with that said, those are my top predictions as to who I think could be coming as the last two characters in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. There's also a bizarre chance Nintendo could add an extra character, or maybe just, one of those last slots is a character that we're not even remotely expecting. Maybe they just want to give us a big surprise like Sonic or Kirby or something. Who knows? It's completely up to Nintendo, but let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Do you think Nintendo is going to add, the obvious Kongs with Diddy or Funky and even Pauline, or are they going to do something unexpected? Let me know who you also would like to see down below and comment why. But thank you so much for tuning in. Leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in general. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.